here at Skansen, there is also another zoo and aquarium called Skansen Aquarium. And if you show your badge, you can get in there for free also. So please, Danielle is going to talk about the next campaign.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's okay? Okay. Daniel, biologist and head of education at Zoo delle Maitine, that is a brand new zoo in the south of Italy. I've been working on this presentation with Bruna Vallettini from Acquario di Genova, and I had to say hello to all of you from her and from Claudia Gili, that is a zoological director of Acquario di Genova, and she's also the first applicants of this campaign. So the applicants were the Marine Mammal Tag, and the chair is, of course, Claudia Gili. Then there is Nausicaa with Florence Soron, and of course, Laura Myers from the EAZA office. Then we have many other institutions participating. Of course, there is Acquario di Genova, Nausicaa, me with Zoo delle Maitine, and Oceanario di Lisboa, and the Wroclaw Zoo. I went running after the first slide because here there is a title, but it probably will not be the final title of the campaign, but we will talk about it at the end of this presentation. First question, why do we run this campaign? That is a campaign about sustainable fish consumption. We do it because we need to mitigate the threats to aquatic fauna caused by indiscriminate fishing. This is one of the first reasons. The other one is that unsustainable fisheries is a threat to the future of the entire economic sector, from fishermen to chefs and consumers, to us, of course, because we all need fish. Is there any no fish eating in the room? Okay, they're just so less. Don't worry, we can continue with our campaign. But let's take a look at a few data that we collect, and all the data we collected are from big institutions, from FAO, for example. This is a very important data that we have. In orange, you can see the capture, the fishing from the fisheries. And as you can see, the global total capture from fisheries from in 2016 was something like 90 millions of tons. In 2015, it was 81, so it's increasing. But the data that I want to show you in this slide is the blue one. That is the capture from aquaculture. That now is more or less the 50% of all the fish that goes on the market. That can be good, but it only can be good because sustainable aquaculture is something really difficult to obtain. Let me say that it's a little fishy, aquaculture. But it can be one of the solutions if we try the way to have only or the most part of the aquaculture being sustainable. Some other data, this is a very complicated scheme, but we can see that since 1961, the average annual increase in global food fish consumption has outpaced the population growth. So we are fishing too much. Population didn't grow so much as the fisheries. And the fish consumption, anyway, it increased. In 1961, we had something like 10 kilos per person. And in 2015, that is the last sure data we have, it was around 20 kilos. Now we know by unofficial data that in Italy, for example, this amount is around 22 kilos of fish per person. We eat a lot of fish in Italy. I know that Portugal too. So it's something we have to think about. This other slide show the overfishing in the orange part, and the fraction of fish stocks within biological sustainability, that is the central stripes, show an increasing of the trend, because in the 70s, in 1975, we had something like just 90% of the sustainably fishing. In 2015, this goes to the 66%. So we have less sustainably stocks of fish. So the fish that we can take without big problem. All the stocks that are fished unsustainably increased from a 10% that we can see in 75 at the beginning, so the orange, to a 33.1% in 2015. So it's always more difficult to find and fish some sustainable stocks, because they are decreasing very, very rapidly. This is another issue, another bad issue, the food loss and the waste. There is a great percentage of fish, actually, the percentage of fish and seafood produced for human consumption and lost or waste is almost the double of that of meat. For fish and seafood, we have a 35%. For the meat, we have a 20%, so it's almost double. The 8% of all these 35% is just thrown back on the sea, dead or alive, but they put it back on the sea, the fishermen, I mean. And they do it because maybe it was too small, undersized, or because it was caught in excess for the yearly quota that they have. They cannot fish whatever they want. Every fish over quota is being thrown back to the sea, dead or alive, or I don't know, in bad condition. Or the third reason of the waste is that there is no commercial value, because we all know a few species that can be eaten, but in reality there are much more species that can be used as human food. We only, in Italy, for example, that is a data that comes from the Italian Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry Policies, we only eat the 10% of the 700 species that can be consumed. So, food loss and food waste remain a serious problem. And in 2013, they tried to reform the common fishery policy, and they are trying to aim to eliminate the wasteful, practicing what they call landing obligation. So fishermen cannot do anymore the throwback on the sea. They have to land all the fish they catch. I think that is a bigger problem, because you create waste, a lot of waste, because maybe you can discharge a lot of species that can be eaten, but if nobody knows them, that fish will become soon waste, and is another loss. So the EU government decided to introduce it, but only gradually. So they change it, but they are introducing very gradually, and they're working on the single species. Now, it's clear that it's now necessary to take action to change anything and to reduce the waste, to reduce the overfishing. For that, we have to change our eating habits, actually. That means that bad habits will lead us to the food loss, the food waste, the fish loss, and the overfishing on the stocks. With some good habits, we will try to have something better. What I would say is this one: the same old way will bring us where we already know the disaster. We have to be powerful enough. We have to believe in what we do, and we have to try to make a new way. Not only good habits, but a new way of thinking, a new way of knowing what we eat to make it change. For that reason, the concept of this campaign, it wants to be a positive approach. We don't want to scare people. This project wants to aim at at wants to make the zoos move, aquaria and public to take action to preserve marine resources. We want to be only positive. We don't want to be negative. For that reason, the message will favor the consumption of fish that is caught locally and in the right season, because this is something that people doesn't know. They don't know, absolutely. They know that in, I don't know, in summertime they can eat strawberries and berries, I don't know, peach and apricot and watermelon. In winter time, is it a little difficult to find them. But they don't know that with the fish, it works in the same way. They absolutely don't know. They continue asking for the same species of fish. The last thing is that we will know, we will advise for the fisheries to fish only on non-threatened fish stock. That can be difficult, but if you take a look at the pictures, maybe Antonietta remember from last Saturday, we were eating out in a Vietnamese restaurant, and on the menu, it was a simple restaurant. It wasn't a five-star super restaurant. On the menu, there were written, "We use catches from sustainable stocks and serve food cooked from raw material." So it's possible, and someone is doing it. So why we cannot do it as well? If a simple, small restaurant in Stockholm can write it down on a menu, I think that every one of us can do it. For that reason, only a green list will be proposed. We will not have any red list. We are not going to tell, "Oh, don't eat that fish." We will just advise people to choose something else, something that maybe they don't know, something that will be on the green list. The green list is already prepared. Of course, it's not a very long list, and probably it will not be possible to use it on every country in Europe. But every zoo that decided to join the campaign will be absolutely free to use other species of fish. The only things, of course, they have to be sure from sure data that those fish are sustainable. It was almost impossible to create only one list, so we created, but there is it's just a short list, and every zoo can be free to add any other fish. Just be sure that it's sustainable. The campaign have three main topics. The first one is the human sustainable consumption. So, in the institution will be asked to try to offer at least one species of fish that is sustainable. At least one. We will not ask for more. As an external objective, so when thinking about customer, Of course, we have to increase awareness on the problem, always being positive, and maybe using the restaurants that are inside the zoo to raise awareness. We will try to change a little bit the habits of the consumer, and we are thinking about fundraising. And here, there is my first question to you. If you know any valuable project that can be helped with some fundraisers, please let us know. I'm here not to present a campaign that is already done. I'm here to present a campaign that is being built now. We have to build it together. I think that can be a great opportunity for everyone. As a tool, every zoo can use the green list that we construct. Then the second topic of the campaign is the sustainable animal feed. Many zoos have marine mammals, for example, that eat fish. Are the fish that you're using in your zoo, in your aquarium, in your dolphinarium, from sustainable fish stock? Who knows? I know that can be a little tricky. It's not really easy, but we know certainly that at least one zoo is working on the right way. I don't know if there is anyone from Marineland Antibes near. No, they're working very hard on this. And they're working with Seafoodia, that is a provider of fish, and we are asking if it will be possible to have them as partner. We already asked them at the beginning of the campaign about this, because they are working together, Seafoodia and Marineland, on the nutrition of the animals. So Seafoodia only bring fish that has been caught on sustainable stock to Marineland, and the veterinarians, curator, and trainers works on the diet of the animal using only those species. So it can be possible. They are doing. The third topic of the campaign, that is a little more hard for aquariums, is to have sustainable aquatic species in the collection. I know that it's not really and always easy, but I think we have to work on it as well. Many aquariums got species that are caught somewhere, somehow, and not always from sustainable fish stock. So, of course, the tool in this case is the application of the EWAC guidelines for animal acquisition. EWAC is another partner of the campaign. I missed the logo at the beginning because I got a problem with my computer. But the EWAC is the European Union of Aquariums Curators. So they produce some guidelines for animal acquisition, and there are advice for the acquisition of animals that come only from sustainable stocks. We have already in Europe a few previous campaigns. The Aquario di Genoa has been working for several years with this project that is called Fish Scale. Then we have the Fish Forward campaign by the WWF. And I know by Antonietta, the WWF is still working and asking, so it can be maybe involved in the campaign as well. At least for the communication part, maybe they can be more impressive than us. Of course, there is Nausicaa that has been working, Nausicaa and Aquario Genoa as well, in this project, Mr. Good Fish. And I think there is also Oceanario de Lisboa that has been working in several projects in the last years on this topic. So the principal campaign features are this. We need to have a positive attitude on person. We don't have to scare them, because when people are scared, they don't want to hear. and they turn their head, then they start to think, okay, what can I do? I cannot do nothing, so I don't care. Then conservation, education, and communication, there will be a very great feature of this. It will be most of all a communication campaign based on conservation education. We have to communicate. We have to convince people to eat something they never did it. Now in Italy, it's very in vogue to eat insects. And they're succeeding, eating insects. We have many bars opening in the north of Italy, where you can, but also in Rome, where you can go and eat crickets or, I don't know, cockroaches and so on. And if you can convince someone to eat cockroaches, I think that we can do it with some very good fish that came out of an oven with some smell, you know. I think it can be quite easy. All the work will be based only on green stock list, always because we want to be positive. And of course, there will be an evaluation. We are working on the evaluation. If you have any idea on how to evaluate this campaign, of course, tell us or work with us. That is a long way better. We need a lot of educational material, but a lot of educational material is already done by the previous campaign. We have a lot of materials, but it needs to be organized, revised, and of course we need some new ideas to go further, to do more. For this reason, I need you. We need you. And we want you to work with us. And when I say I need you and I want you, it's I want you, every single one of you, sitting there doing, oh my God, I don't know, I don't want to do anything, because I think really that this can be a great opportunity, not only to be part of a great campaign, but to build it together. As I told you, there's nothing really prepared. We can work together. It will be us, the educators, working on this campaign. So, before it's too late, before we have to work with something that we don't like or with material that we don't like, this is an opportunity to work together and build it together. What is needed to be done? Everything, of course, from panels, posters, wallpapers. We can think about a day event, for example, or a slogan, activities that we can do in the zoo or outside the zoo, at school, videos. In these last times, I've seen that videos are very attractive. Short video, well done, they're really attractive. And then, of course, we need to use Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube, and of course, there will be a well-done website. If there is any zoo that feel particularly, how can I say, keen to do something about communication, tell us. We're looking for some graphic designer, for someone that can help us with all this material. For the graphic part, for the ideas, we need all of you, of course. And what's important is that your ideas will be appreciated. All your ideas, whoever you are. Do not think, please, that your idea is not valuable. And also, if you feel little, powerless, the last one, or maybe you are the very first EAZA conference and you don't know how does it work, I can tell you that it works very, very easily. Very easily, really. We are educators. We are not golem creators with my precious. No, we are not. We like to share. Who doesn't like to share? We like to share, of course, and we like to work in group. much more than this. We are creative, passionate, we are patient. We know that every step forward, also if it's very little, actually is a success. And we dream, and we know how to work hard on our dreams. We always smile. If you're educators, I know that you're always smiling also when humanity is self-destructing. Otherwise, you're not an educator. We all know what we're talking about. So, for all this reason, and of course for much more, we ask for your help to beat the greatest campaign ever together. Really, together. We have to work it together. And the first help you can give to the campaign is a name, actually. Because the first title that I show you, A Drop in the Ocean, seems to be a little scary. It's just a drop in the ocean. Okay, we cannot do it. We can't afford it. So we've been working a lot with all the working group, and the only thing sure that we have is the payoff from the EAZA office. So, Sustainable Aquatic Resource Campaign. That's the only sure thing that we have for now. Then we ended with 3 titles that can be chosen. This is the first one. Officially good. I propose it. and I know that it's a little bit difficult to translate in any other language than English. So if you are used to work with the title campaign in English, it can be good. I like it. I propose it. Then there is this one, See and Me. Okay, no. It's yours? No. And this one, Which fish, or which fish, or maybe it can be which fish, something. With These are the 3 names that we gave to the conservation committee, but they didn't tell us anything yet. Don't know what they're deciding, or maybe they're waiting for a new idea from you. Yeah, no, nothing at all. Okay. Anyway, this is the first things that needed to be decided. So if you have, of course, any idea, write it down. And I think we will have space in an open space to any one of you that is interested in participating in this campaign or not, or if you want just to give any idea, any news, we can see and we can work together a little bit. I don't know what time is it. We can have a chat now, perfectly. Also because I think that yes, it's finished. Thank you very much. Best fishes to everybody.